Hello everybody. I'm Go Senpai. The last day of mid-spring, unfortunately, but definitely we have enjoyed a good amount of runs during all the marathon. But the fun stuff doesn't finish here. We're still having some runs, including this one, which is gonna be Snow Brothers for the NES, and I'm pretty sure that this is not the game. I'm just looking around. And before I can start, you will wondering why am I using a big sombrero before I start the run? There are two reasons behind that. First of all, it's because, well, there was a donation incentive that was made before the run begins. So thank you so much for all the people who has donated for the marathon, and especially for those who have donated for the sombrero incentive. And the second reason is because this sombrero gives me speedrun powers. So maybe it's gonna look like I'm playing up like a pro on the game, but the real thing is gonna be that I'm using this umbrella because this is gonna give me just abilities to experience updates. So let's start with okay, I'm ready, so I'm gonna make the countdown 3, oh, and 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and first thing I'm gonna be doing is something I like to call position manipulation, which means that depending of my position on the stage, okay, I have started the run on a very bad mood, unfortunately, so maybe, okay, I shouldn't have done some stuff that I haven't done here, so maybe this is gonna affect on the person run. I hope that this shouldn't be a problem. Well, I am gonna explain a bit what I was trying to do. For now, I'm gonna do a little setup, which is based also on the position manipulation, because I'm trying to manipulate the game in order to get the red potion. Unfortunately, I haven't got it, so I'm just gonna reset really quick, and let's start again. 3, 2, 1, go. And well, the timer should keep running on the stream, which is gonna be fine. I'm running my own timer just in case. The reason why I have to set there is because I'm trying to manipulate the game in order to get the red potion, and I was really aware that I wasn't gonna get it because I made some incorrect movements on the first stage because position manipulation. I like to call it like that because there are not so many active runners, so there's not like a way to name that strat actually. And okay, that was the strat, the potion of the red potion. Even we got. So in most video games, we are used that depending of our position, well, depending of the RNG or the cycles is how the enemies are gonna move or react. Well, in this case, this is different with the game because depending of our position is where the enemies are gonna move or what are they gonna do. So I'm trying to move to specific spots in order to manipulate the position of the enemies, and with this, I'm gonna be able to get some stuff that I'm was looking for. In this case, it's a on the third stage. I should have got the blue potion, but I got it on the first stage. That wasn't bad anyways. Usually, you try to go for a route where you get the red potion on the second stage and the blue potion on the third one. Because as you have seen, the way that you defeat the enemies is, well, the game in general has a similar concept as Bubble, but instead of bubbles we have these snowballs. So what are we doing is that the way that we're gonna be defeating the enemies is that we need to freeze them, we need to turn them into a snowball, and after that we need to throw the snowball. And if a rolling snowball touches an enemy, that enemy is gonna fly around the stage and it's gonna turn into an item. In this case, I need to catch that item first, and I'm gonna hit this guy also. So sometimes it's, well, in some stages with some enemies it's better just to don't freeze the enemies, just wait until the rolling snowball turn them into an item and then you catch the item. But in some stages I need to be careful, like for example this stage, because you can get an additional bonus item, which is the face item, that is gonna turn the stage in black and white, and some enemies that just give to you points are gonna, and that make us losing time. So in that case, on the stage I used to go for the left, because if I have went for on the right, in the left section, I went to the right section of the game. So I don't know what am I saying. I just wake it up like I don't know how many minutes ago. I'm gonna explain that later on a bit. For now, this is the first boss fight. No! I thought that I was on the missile pace. Okay, this is really bad. If I should have been doing PV attempts, I should have reset it. But I'm not. So we cannot do that. Anyway, now it's gonna be everything is low because I don't used to die here, or unless I'm. Oh, it's really weird for me to die like this on this stage. So any stages are gonna be a bit slow until I can get lucky. I'm gonna try to manipulate the game to see if I can get any potions. And no, this is not a whoa moment because I have died. So what I was trying to explain is that on stage 8 I went to the right section of the stage because if I should have went to the left, I should have got that bonus item that you was gonna make me use time. So moving on with the game. Sometimes let me see. That enemy used to give me a potion sometimes. Okay, that enemy gave me candy, so that was pointless. So with the items, you can get some potions, you can get bonus items, or you just can get food that is just gonna give to you points, which are really pointless. And also, I'm gonna be abusing a lot right now since I don't have any power up. It's gonna be the invincibility. Every time that I throw a snowball, and if I get caught by that snowball, after I jump upside it, I'm gonna have some invisibility frames for a second and a half. So I'm gonna be using that on my side in order to try to be a bit safe. Okay, there we go. Red potion. We're slightly back in the game. It doesn't matter that we have the good potion. The important one is the red for now. If we want to go for a resetless pace or a marathon run. There are a total of 4 potions in the game. The red potion that you have seen increases my speed, so definitely this is really important. That's why I have reset on the second stage, because it's better to reset even on a marathon. Just a couple of times to try to get the red potion, instead of trying to begin the game without the red potion, because that's gonna be slow. But in this case, the setup that I have done, the way that I have defeated enemies on the second stage, uses to increase your chances of getting the red potion. Shout out to Sombrero, who was the guy who discovered that strat. The blue potion just increases your shooting power, allowing you to freeze the enemies in 2 seconds. Well, in 3 seconds, just with 2 hits. Another potion that we haven't seen is the yellow potion, which increases your shooting range. Which for now it's not really important. It just helps you a bit, but even you can get a good time in the game without it. And the green potion, which is a bonus one that just appears in some stages. In this case, it can appear on the floor 14, but I haven't been able to get it, so it's fine. Which just throws your head into a balloon and you can fly on the stage, and through the stage, and if you touch an enemy, it's gonna have a similar effect like if a running snowball touches that enemy. And well, this is I got the yellow potion here. It's interesting. I think this is the first time that I get the yellow potion. So now, floor 20. Let's see which kind of luck I got. I haven't got a good spawn in this case. I was expecting that the frog spawned on top. That was gonna be the fastest way to defeat the frog, but since I'm lacking from the blue potion, it's fine that this frog has spawned here, because I wasn't gonna be able to do the fastest way here. And well, now the bombs are gonna come from this way. Last hit that I need to do. Okay, it was slow. So remember, guys, practice your games and expect any kind of mistake, otherwise you're gonna be suffering like this. Okay, this is not bad at all anyways. But, and then also this gamble machine is something to about this NES version of the game. This was a game released for arcades in 1990. And, well, at the same time, the game was ported to NES, as you have seen, in 1991. This game was developed and released by Toblin, and Capcom distributed the game outside of Japan, at least for the NES version. There are in total 50 stages, and for a moment I thought that I got the blue potion. I don't know why my mind was thinking that I had a blue potion. Anyways, let's keep going. So here on the next stages, there are not gonna be so much things to say, so maybe after stage 25 we're gonna have some kind of a little gap of time to make any kind of announcement related to the game, or related to the marathon. And here we're gonna be watching some new enemies, like well, in these cases the green enemies uses to shoot fire horizontally, but these ones that are on a more clear and a more low green color. If I'm the same vertical line that them, they're gonna throw fire. So I need to be quick and careful with that. And also, this Zuma guy just gives you points. When you defeat other enemies, this guy disappears, so I shouldn't be worried about him. And also, you need to use a snowball in order to reach those spots. For 25, it's really important that I go for the guy on the top left, because there's a okay. I got the green potion here, so you can see an example of this. But no blue potion yet, and I got another red potion also. Again, floor 26, this is a kinda tricky stage, casually talking, but this is the real way where, about how you complete this stage. You need to use that enemy as a platform, then you throw it, and yes, I got the blue potion, so now we are really playing the game. The hat is having the real effects right now. And I say that, and probably on a couple of stages I'm gonna die again. I hope that I don't have so much salt in my mouth right now after I said that, so hopefully everything is gonna go fine. Floor 28, this is a kind of tricky stage also, because as you have seen, we have the platforms that uses to that you need to reach these spots with a snowball. I was trying to make a manipulation to make those enemies fall down, and unfortunately they haven't fallen down, so they turn into a tornado. But the good thing about that is that they weren't synchronized, so first one of those enemies turned into a... No! I got this mistake again! And I don't know, I recently got this mistake, but it's fine. Okay. We got it. Let's pray for a good NG. Nice. Okay, this is decent. That wasn't a bad death anyway, at all. He was lucky. You know, real massive pace killer. This is well, I like to call these birds as massive pace killer. These birds are gonna throw some eggs, and it's important you need to throw the eggs. I failed here in order to try to keep 3 eggs and defeat that bird right now. So each of these birds just require 2 hits, and we're gonna be done. And also, it's a bit complicated to try to manipulate where the birds are gonna spawn. And I felt like it again. You need to hit this bird 2 times and it's gonna be good. I have lost a good amount of PB attempts due to these birds, and I used to waste a good amount of time here. That's why I used to call this as a massive pace killer. And also, I was mentioning that this gamble machine is just something exclusive to the NES version. I can have a one-up, nice. This is gonna be really good, I'm gonna be explaining why later. But usually on speedruns, when you are going for PBs, the last thing that you want on these gamble machines are the lives, because you get a one-up, but at the same time you get 50,000 points due to that. And the most points you get on the gaming machine, the most low that you're gonna be moved to the rest of the stages. So, what do we want to get on the gaming machines are just the letter X 3 times, because that gives you nothing. You can get a letter from the snow world, which is gonna give to you, it's gonna give to you obviously a letter from the snow world and 10,000 points, and if you get all the snow world, you're gonna get a 1-up. In this case, I just need the letter S, and I'm gonna get an extra 1-up. Also, one of the bonus item that I have mentioned for the stage 8 just switches enemies to get the letters from the snow world, which again loses time. And now on stage 33, we're gonna be watching a strat that I'm just the only person who do this from the few active runners of this game. I don't know why the other runners doesn't do this when this is really quick, because every time that I begin with a stage, okay, it's also a bit tricky to do so and a bit risky, so I will understand if people doesn't do that. And I'm impressed that I got the visual glitch with an enemy here. Every time you spawn on a stage, you get some invisibility frames. So I use that on my side sometimes, like on the previous stage, in order to save some time and try to defeat some enemies really quick. And in this case, I can use a snowball as a platform and jump over it, and at the same time I can throw it if I press A and B at the correct time. Because also, if I'm not in a good position, or if I don't press the buttons correctly, I can throw the snowball, or I can jump, or I can throw the snowball without jumping, or I can jump without throw the snowball, and that just gonna make you lose time. Okay, I think that we have like a minute before I reach the next boss, so if there's any announcement related to the event, this is gonna be a good moment to talk about them. There's nothing extra to mention here, just that these white monkeys sometimes can be a bit annoying. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep it. It is a really risky stage. Oh, it's floor 39. If you have reached this point of the game, guess what? This is where the real nightmare begins. This is probably the most annoying stage of the game, because on the middle section of this in the middle section of the stage, you cannot get outside of it. So I'm just gonna wait for this guy. Yeah, I was gonna die. That's the reason why this is a real nightmare, because well, I got an awful pattern here, but usually when you begin to do this stage, you prefer to don't move, so you're gonna wait until an enemy jumps outside of it because of the middle section of the stage. Because you need to use a snowball in order to get outside of it, and due to the reduced space, due to the reduced space and the enemies, that's not like an easy thing to do. Sometimes it's gonna be really rare. And also there are a lot of differences comparing this with arcade release. For example, on the arcade release you have 2 of these enemies, and there are some enemies that are well, 2 of these bosses, and the enemies are falling from the top screen, from the top section of the screen, and you cannot freeze those far enemies. But again, this is due to any limitations. Usually some people like to consider this as an easy version, comparing this with the arcade release, because there are less enemies. But also the ES version has its own thing, and I got 2 extra lives, and this is really good for marathon purposes. I'm gonna be explaining that later. I have like 9 continues anyway, so I shouldn't be worried about if I'm gonna die or something like that. But I'm just gonna explain the reason behind that later if I don't die. Even on the last boss, I can get some of the power-ups, in this case the blue and red potion. You know, stages 41 from 49, we're gonna be we're not having some enemies such as these bats that has some mustaches. Maybe for future marathons where I submit and I get a setup with this game, I'm gonna try to get a fake mustache to be using with the Sombrero. And it's fine, don't think that I'm appropriating cultures or something like that. I'm Mexican, so whatever. And also, if you're not really quick completing some stages, this is gonna happen. So this pumpkin ghost is gonna appear, and it's gonna try to kill you. And after some seconds, it's gonna throw some ghosts that you cannot disappear. As you have seen, I wasn't able to kill that pumpkin ghost. You cannot kill that enemy. If you shoot to it, it's just gonna respawn at another point of the map and another part of the stage. But with the ghost that is gonna spawn, simply it's not gonna. Well, you cannot defeat that ghost. And for some reason, you can get a lot of potions on these stages. As you have seen, that I have got a blue potion, and it's gonna help me a bit. And that bouncing enemy wasn't something good. That's something not so common to happen on the game, but if it happens, I think that's a good way to showcase some weird stuff about the game. Well, these enemies just used to try to attack to you if you're on the same horizontal line than them, and now you gotta get another blue potion. And I'm gonna keep quiet here. I don't have nothing to mention until I reach the last boss, which is gonna be the floor 50. So if there are some announcements related to the marathon, such as donations, incentives, and all that kind of stuff, feel free to mention it. We're gonna have like 1 minute.
All right, I actually do have one donation. I have one donation by Bahamut X, me. Good luck to Norimaki for the upcoming Shantae run. Let's have Shantae wear the ninja outfit. You can never go wrong with more ninja. The donation was for $50. Also, I can also plug a drawing that we'll have. Every single donations of $50 or more throughout Saturday and Sunday will be entered to win one of 2 Nintendo Switch consoles. You must be 18 or older, have a valid email address, and U.S. shipping address to be eligible. Make sure you're logged into speedrun.com while donated so VGMCon can contact you. View the full terms and conditions at tinyurl.com/VGMConSwitch or by typing in command giveaway in chat.
That's not a good incentive to donate. I don't know which should. Well, last boss of the game. This is a pretty short game. We have 50 stages, but again, NES game, platforming title. I believe this is short. Well, we're gonna have these two guys, and this is something different compared with the arcade release because this is the only stage where the NES, where this stage is. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. I was gonna say that this is the only stage that it's faster compared with, and a bit easier compared with arcade release because on other parts of the game, the bubbles spawn really low, and the roof is falling down slowly. And also, you will see that I'm gonna try to get trapped on these bubbles on purpose. The reason behind that is because if there are some potions, even if I have them, I'm gonna try to get them because the most elements you have on screen, the less bubbles you're gonna get. And well, the bubbles can have an enemy, can have a firewall, can have a potion, or can have nothing. In this case, well, can have a potion, can have nothing, can have a firewall, or they can have an enemy. In this case, we want the enemies, and this is heavily RNG based. I have lost a good amount of world record pieces due to this boss fight because the actual world record has an insane good luck with the RNG, and that hasn't been my case with this because if you compare my previous PVs and my actual PV with the world record, you will see that my PVs is slightly faster, but I get a very awful RNG with this boss fight. So based on Nick Capricorn's words, what I try to do is that I'm gonna try to get stuck in the bubbles. Okay, I died there. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to catch one of the I'm gonna get trapped into the bubbles, trying to get some items because just to reduce the amount of elements on screen. The time is gonna finish once I defeat the other boss, so be ready because time can happen at any time, and that was a troll enemy. So I'm just gonna try to reduce the amount of elements on screen. The only way that I can do this is just to try to catch all the potions, as much potions as I can. And I used to alternate the hits between these bosses. Each of them just requires 10 hits to get defeated, but I wasn't concentrated, so I forgot to alternate my hits. So I don't know how many times I haven't hit this guy. And now I'm having a bad RNG because I'm not getting enemies. And in this case, it doesn't matter if some items get stuck on the top. I'm just gonna try to get the items I'm lucky enough just to be prepared for any situation. Okay, maybe this is gonna be time. No, that's not. I'm going to wait for another enemy. And yeah, after some time, you're not gonna get a lot of enemies. Time! Yeah, that's another problem with the game. It's if you don't coordinate your shoots properly, you're gonna never know when you're gonna be finish the time. So, William, since I haven't used any continue, I have done a lot, but since I was gaining extra lives on the gamble machine, I haven't used any of the continues. So we are watching right now the real ending of the game. Because if you don't use any of the in-game continues that it has nine credits comparing this with an arcade machine, you get the real ending. If you use at least one continue, the game's gonna tell you that the plot of the game. I forgot to talk about it. So speedrun percent with talking. The plot of the game is that on a very far away land, the princesses Argentina, sorry if I forget their names again, were kidnapped by the evil King Scorch. So the princess Nick and Tom tried to rescue them. They failed, and evil King Scorch put a snowman curse on them. So now they need to rescue the princesses. So defeat this evil Scorch, the evil King Scorch. And if you use it as one continue, you're gonna get the ending that okay, the princesses were rescued and the pace is back in the kingdom, and that's everything. And if you don't use any of the continues, you get the real ending of the game, where obviously you defeat the evil King Scorch, you rescue the princesses, you lose the snowman curse, and the pace is back in the kingdom, and obviously brothers Nick and Tom get married with the twin princesses. That's like a good reward if you don't use any of the continues on the game. And well, this was my small participation in this marathon. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for the Midwest Speedfest staff, because it has been a long time since I was featured on their marathon. So fortunately, I haven't been able to submit on most of their events on last year, because most of their events happened on dates where I was quite busy. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty excited about being back here on the marathon. And even one of the first games that I have run on a Midwest event was Snow Brothers. I used to run the game on an emulator. Now I'm able to play it on console. And well, my PB on emulator is 1823, which is the third place in the leaderboard, and my PB on console is 1853 again. Last boss can be a bit tricky and can make you save or lose time, or can define if you can get or not a PB. And well, I'm really happy of showcasing this game again, because since that first run, I have found I have found some few strats were found also by other runners, and now the run is it's more marathon friendly, and most stuff that you were thinking that you depend upon RNG are not a thing again. So this is a safer run to complete the event for or PV attempts. And well, I know that this event is being restreamed on other languages. Merci for the Baguette restream, Danke for the German restream, and also Arigato gozaimashita for our friends in the Japanese restream for this event. And if somebody's interested into learning this game, I have a guide in both English and Spanish. English because I don't think explain the reason behind that. In Spanish is because that's my main language. I have a video guides on speedrun.com that takes more than 2 hours, but I cover both 80% and also use one player routes with all the kind of different strats and combinations you can get on the game. And if with enough grinding practice, you can finish this game in less than 20 minutes. Okay, I think that this was everything by my side. Again, thank you so much for everybody watching the marathon stream, everybody watching the restreams on different languages, and at the same time, thanks so much for Midwest staff for giving the opportunity of being showcased again on this marathon. Thank you so much for all the people who has been donating at the same time. Thank you so much for the people who has donated for the Sombrero incentive, because definitely without you guys, probably this run should have been worse, because if I don't use the Sombrero on a marathon, I cannot run this. And even with the mistakes, we get a decent luck. Come on, that's starting by my side. I was Go Senpai, Party Speedrunner, Nostalgic Runner, classic PlayStation and modern Nintendo games, or if I find an interesting game, I'm gonna try to run it. So, twitch.tv/UnFantasmaMas, speedrun.com/GoSenpai, Speedgaming Espanol staff, and see you everybody. Have a nice day and keep enjoying the market.